Today we're stepping back to a time just after World War II when our city briefly had something many people have forgotten: a professional football team called the Bethlehem Bulldogs. Their story is short, but it tells us a lot about who we were and who we hope to be.
In the years just after World War II, Bethlehem was a city finding its footing again. The mills roared back to life. Soldiers came home, families settled in, and for a brief moment, between 1946 and 1950, Bethlehem had something else to cheer for on Sunday afternoons: a professional football team. They were called the Bethlehem Bulldogs, and though their time was short, their story offers a fascinating glimpse into a city and a country trying to rediscover normal life through sport. The Bulldogs emerged during a unique moment in American sports history. Professional football was still finding its identity. The National Football League existed, but it hadn't yet become the cultural giant we know today. Beneath it were a collection of so-called minor leagues, populated by hungry players, regional teams, and cities eager for recognition. Bethlehem was one of those cities. In December of 1945, a professional league that had gone dormant during the war announced its return. Formerly known as the American Association, it rebranded itself for the post-war era as the American Football League, not to be confused with the later AFL of the 1960s. Among its teams, Bethlehem. The Bulldogs franchise had an interesting lineage. Originally based in Providence, Rhode Island, the team was acquired in the spring of 1945 by owner Bob Sell and relocated to Bethlehem. The nickname Bulldogs was a natural fit. The mascot was designed to depict the perceived toughness of the team, the city, and its players. It wasn't just branding. It was an attempt to root the team firmly in the community. The Bulldogs were placed in the league's Western Division alongside teams from Akron, Ohio, and Wilmington, Delaware. They played hard, physical football, reflective of the industrial towns they represented. And Bethlehem responded. For fans still adjusting to peacetime life, Bulldogs games were affordable, local, and personal. These weren't distant stars. These were men you might see downtown or at the mill. The Bulldogs' finest hour came quickly. In 1947, just their second season, Bethlehem captured the league championship. It was a remarkable achievement for a relocated franchise still establishing its footing. That same year, the league dissolved its divisional structure, a sign of instability that foreshadowed trouble ahead. Still, for a moment, Bethlehem stood tall as a title-winning football town. Adding legitimacy to the operation, the league signed a formal agreement with the NFL in early 1946. The Bulldogs were recognized as a minor league affiliate of the Philadelphia Eagles, with contracts and territorial rights respected. Bethlehem, briefly, was connected to the highest level of the sport, but minor league football was always fragile. Operating costs were high, attendance was unpredictable, and television, still in its infancy, would soon begin reshaping how Americans consumed sports. By 1950, the Bulldogs were struggling. After playing just 2 games that season, the team suspended operations mid-year. Soon after, the league itself faded away. There was no dramatic collapse, no final championship parade, just a quiet ending, common to many post-war teams that burned brightly, but briefly. The Bethlehem Bulldogs existed for only 4 seasons, but in that short span, they represented something larger than wins and losses. They were a symbol of a city reawakening, of communities gathering again, of Sunday afternoons spent together, believing, if only for a while, that Bethlehem belonged on the national sports map. Today, the Bulldogs are mostly forgotten, but for a few post-war years, they wore Bethlehem's name across their chests, and that's a story worth remembering.
The Bulldogs didn't last long, but for a few seasons they carried Bethlehem's name onto the field. And sometimes that's enough. Thanks for joining me for this chapter of Exploring Bethlehem, and I'll see you next time.